6 rare humans that are 1 in a million. Supatra Sasuftan. Imagine the scene: your child has just been born and you look down at your little bundle of joy and what you see is a lot of hair. On the day of Supatra Sasufan's birth, her mother was told that she had lots of hair, more than a normal child. Everybody in that delivery room was stunned and confused when the little hairy baby entered the world. Turns out that Supatra was born with Ambras syndrome. This incredibly rare congenital skin disease causes excessive hair growth all over the body. Unfortunately, she can never really cure herself of this disease. It's incurable. So she's just had to come to terms with the fact that she will forever have werewolf syndrome. Michelle Kish. Take a look at this woman. This is Michelle Kish and she's 20 years old. She looks younger than that, right? Michelle suffers from an extremely rare genetic disorder called Hallermann-Streiff syndrome. It is a condition that affects just 1 in 5 million people. The symptoms of this unique condition include a cranial facial disorder, cataracts, and dwarfism. Which certainly explains why she is so often mistaken for someone much younger. Despite the difficulties she faces, Michelle approaches every single day with a contagious sense of joy. For her, life is all about joy, being alive, and being happy. Every person that meets Michelle highlights how joyful and cheery she is to be around. Michelle Kish is a special and phenomenal person. How many of us could deal with something so difficult and still wake up with a big smile? Billy Hodgson. Could you live your life without having any strong emotions? Billy Hodgson has too. She suffers from a condition called cataplexy. A complicated and rare brain condition that causes her to pass out in reaction to strong emotions. The most unsafe emotion for Billy is laughter. Every time she laughs, she ends up passing out. This makes life more difficult as she is a bubbly person. Even though she does her best to make light of her condition, it sometimes becomes a serious thing that leaves her completely unable to move. That's not too comforting a life. For Billy, laughter is literally a life or end situation. Mandy Sellers. Mandy Sellers suffers from Proteus syndrome, because of which she has enlarged legs weighing 209 pounds and 3.2 feet in circumference. Her feet are so large that she has to buy specially fitted shoes costing around $4,000. Also drives a personalized car that can drive without using her feet. Unfortunately, these changes were not good enough, and her quality of life continued to suffer. Doctors eventually took a difficult decision to amputate one of Mandy's legs after she contracted deep vein thrombosis. Mandy's condition has given her a prosthetic leg and a lot of problems. Joseph Merrick. Arguably one of the most famous people, Joseph Merrick is perhaps better known to the world as the Elephant Man. He was born in 1836 with Proteus syndrome, a condition that causes huge limbs to develop on the skin and the bones to deform and thicken. His mother died when he was just 11, and his father outright rejected him. Later on, he found a new way to live, the circus. Joseph became the main act and was called the Elephant Man. Because his head was so huge, Joseph had to sleep sitting up. It was just impossible to sleep laying down with that heavy head. However, one night he decided to sleep like normal people. Minatan. Minan is a Vietnamese orphan who was born with a mysterious skin disorder. The condition causes his skin to flake and form scales, though nobody actually knows why. The most common theory, and the one most often stated by experts, claims that a defoliate chemical used by the USA during the Vietnam battle is to blame. Either way, his skin can become very uncomfortable if it doesn't have regular baths. This suggests he's much closer to a real-life fish than expected. In fact, his favorite hobby is swimming.